everyone, since my last tutorial video, I have in fact learned how to record the correct scene in VRChat. And in that video, I taught you guys how you should react when you first enter VRChat, the do's and don'ts, you know, what you should do when you first enter a public world. So go check that out if you haven't already. And in this video, I'm going to go into more detail about mirrors and mirror etiquette, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, so that you don't, you know, cause a social faux pas and make a scene and, you know, everyone has to have a whole ordeal. So I'm going to let you guys know right now that you are currently aimed at a mirror. If I swipe my hand, you will see that it passes in front of the camera. So you are technically sitting beside me at a mirror right now. And the beauty of this mirror is that, yes, it is in high quality, which means it's not peasant mirror. I covered this in the last video, but peasant mirrors are a social faux pas, and that is a definite don't. You need to drop to 1 frame per second. That is just the rule. Do not use the low quality mirror, high quality mirrors all the way. So you do not want to go ahead and do that. You want to be dropping to 1 solid frame per second if that is a sacrifice you have to make. Or, you know, blue screening your PC. This is the sacrifice we make for the true VRChat experience. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a PC or two along the way. I know a friend that went to a world. Sadly, there was no mirror, but they did lose their PC due to poor optimization. The same thing can happen if your mirror is too powerful, but you know what? That second you get looking at the mirror with people around you is completely worth it. And small disclaimer, please don't fry your PC. I don't want to get in trouble now that that's out the way. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to focus on a little bit more is the void. Now, what the void is basically what's happening on either side of me and behind me. Now, in most circumstances, you do not want to turn your head away from the mirror. You can see everything that's happening in the mirror, so you do not need to look left or right. You just need to focus on what's happening in front of you. If there's someone sat next to you, you do not look at them, you do not turn to them and talk to them directly. You talk into the mirror, say, well, looking at you guys, I would just turn my head slightly, acknowledge that I am talking to you. Now that is your acknowledgement right there. See, I am slightly turned towards you, which means I am addressing you. And if someone was sat on this side, I would turn my head slightly to this side and I would address them. And if they are behind me, you just tilt your head up slightly like this and you yell behind you. You never turn your head. The only time you need to turn your head or physically turn your body, which is effort, is if there is something really insane going on behind you, which does happen, or someone is addressing you directly about a more important and personal matter. That is when you just hold your thumbstick and you rotate like this. You don't need to move from your current location. You just turn your avatar, look them in the eye. Now, it's important not to look at them for too long. Let them say their piece. You respond, and then you swiftly turn your avatar back. You do not want to hold eye contact for too long because that just creates an awkward situation for everybody, and then you're just staring at each other back and forth, and that's not what you want. That is not what mirror etiquette is. It is a situational thing. It's something you have to learn. When is the correct time to look away from the mirror and when you should just focus on the mirror. Now, you don't have to turn for every important conversation. Not every conversation is important enough for you to turn. It's up to your own personal judgment whether you want to turn and look at this person. And if they want to show you an animation, obviously you want to see it in full 3D. So you need to turn again and focus on this animation and watch the whole thing. Be polite. Pretend that you aren't suffering because your frames have just dropped even further. Just, you know, smile and wave. Just clap and show appreciation for their hard work. Even if you've seen it for like the 50th time. They have spent time on this animation. They want to share it with you. So you need to give them the time of day. This does not go for public avatars. It is completely up to you if you choose to watch a public avatar animation because they did not make that. So they're just spamming at that point and you have every right to block their animations. Remember that. Friendship though, if you know this person, they're a friend, they spent hours working on it, watch the animation, enjoy it, clap. It's like being in a social situation with like fireworks or something. You go to the same fireworks show and you know, you go, ah, yes, very good, I've seen it before, but I'm going to show my appreciation by clapping because you spent millions of dollars on it. Same thing. It's like you've spent hours working on this avatar and this animation, so I'm going to show appreciation even if I don't fully appreciate it, because that's just polite. So the best way to describe that situation is think of it when you're in a bathroom and there's no like walls and a door either side of you, you're at a stall. The unwritten rule is to keep staring forward. It's basically the same in VRChat. If you turn and look at a person, it's likely to either make them recoil in fear, or they're going to turn and look at you and say something completely awkward and inappropriate just to cover the awkwardness of you staring at them. That is the point of the mirror. Now, there is another thing we have to address with mirror etiquette, and that is if two cuddle buddies start cuddling a little too much. Now, if you're one of those people, I guess you could stay, but personally, I leave the lobby, each to their own, now that that's been briefly covered. That is all, you guys. You figure that one out. Moving on. So, females in front of the mirror. I also covered this briefly too. If you're a male, you need to locate the nearest female in the room and just gravitate towards her. And say I am sitting on this side of the mirror as the female. You all need to be sat in a circle around me. And then if I decide to move, like so, to this side of the mirror, you guys need to get up and follow me to this side of the mirror. Be sure to do that. It is not annoying at all, and it is not just completely... I don't do it to troll people at all. No, it's completely 100% legit when I decide to just stand up and move to the other side of the mirror for no reason. No, it's completely unintentional. So if I decide to move to another side of a mirror, just know that I was doing it through choice and not to troll. As a female, it has happened to me before, and I have purposely swapped sides of the mirror like 5 times, and I can confirm that the males will follow you. Now, of course, not every guy is like that. I have met plenty of chill guys on VRChat, but if you want to be that kind of guy, now you know. Wherever the female goes, you go. Most importantly, do not address her until she addresses you. Just sit there silently. Now, I will probably make a white knight video in the future so you guys can learn the proper way to defend your female target in such an instance, because it is important that you learn how to be a white knight and not make any mistakes, because that is easy to do, and I'm here for you. Back to the mirror. You do not also want to interact physically with the people around you, and that means reaching out and poking them, or, you know, just slapping them across the face, because that's just rude. You also do not want to block your fellow user's mirror. So say, for example, I just come and sit like right here. Is that not annoying? And then I just kind of like do this the whole time. That's not what you want to do. It is impolite to block your fellow user's mirror. So you want to make sure that you're not me and you don't purposely mess with people and stand right in front of their mirror. You need to make sure you are slightly off to the side with reasonable distance between your camera is currently here. So I'd say a safe distance for me to be sitting right now and not make you guys feel uncomfortable. So let's just take a moment before I start offending people. I'm using male and female genders because it's easier. I'm aware that there are a ton of others, but I'm not going to make a 3-hour-long video. So let's just say you are a male and there's another male sitting here. About an arm's length is a safe distance for it not to be too awkward. Make sure your body is turned away from the other male player and you should be fine. As a female, you can pretty much sit anywhere, and I tend to find that for whatever reason, in certain situations, most situations, if I'm sitting this distance away, most people seem fine with it. Go figure. Or even if I sit like this, you know, they might just move themselves instead of yelling at me to move. They'll just be like, they'll move themselves. So basically, I guess you can call it the girl card. It allows you to sit pretty much anywhere and everyone will move around you. Now, that of course does not apply if there is another female in the room. I haven't really gone into that yet, but there is a hierarchy and a way to assert dominance if you find yourself a female in a room with another female. It is a rare occurrence that you do get 2 females in the room. Now, when it comes to females in front of the mirror, I have said that you should find the nearest one, but what do you do if there are 2 females? Now, this one can be easy or it can be hard. The gravitational pull can take at least 20 minutes to take effect depending on the situation. For me, I'm going to describe a situation. I went to a public world and I'm just in my full body and I'm just sitting by a mirror and there's this other female on the side in desktop. Now she already has her circle, they're already around her. And then I walk up and I just sit down, and within 20 minutes they start to realize there is a female in full body, and they leave this desktop girl and they will come over to me. Now, that other girl was obviously mad. So in this kind of situation, what I personally do is leave because I don't care. But if you want to have an all-out brawl with this female and assert your dominance over the mirror, it's an old one, it's a classic, but if you are in full body and she is in full body, it's simple. What you need to do is stand. Now, I know this is hard, but it is about dominance. You have to assert yourself over this female. So we are going to stand up, and we are going to assume the position. So I'm going to reposition myself. Okay, so what you want to do in this situation is physically stand up, turn and face her, look her in the eye, and T-pose like you have never T-posed before. Hold this position until she gets uncomfortable and walks away. I don't care if it takes all day. If you are serious about getting your own white knight circle in a public world, this is just what you need to do. This is a sacrifice you have to make in order to assert dominance over the situation. Don't get into a verbal fight. Verbal fights are not worth it because then you just end up screaming at each other. The guys get scared and they'll run away and find another female in a different public world. So it is simple. You need to get up and assert dominance as soon as possible. Now, if you think that she might be starting to assert dominance over you and her T-pose is too strong and you can't hold it anymore, maybe try and mix it up a little and like stand on one leg while you T-pose. Do whatever you've got to do to win this battle. Okay, back to sitting. Now, when you're sitting in front of a mirror, if you are a shorter avatar, obviously you want the short people to be at the front and the larger avatars to be at the back. That is just the same with any viewing situation. You want everybody to be able to see their avatar. If you feel comfortable enough, you can sit on the lap of your fellow VRchat users. Please note that they may not be comfortable with it, but it can be done. If you are a larger avatar, again, make sure you stay off in the distance so that you are not blocking the view of your fellow VRchat users. Another thing to really think about when you're on VRchat and looking in the mirror is how long is looking in the mirror too long? Well, the answer is there is no too long. You can be sat in front of a mirror for 10 hours. If you have the right people, you can keep a conversation going and it'll be fine. But it does get a little stale, so maybe switch worlds and find another mirror to sit in front of, and there you go, new scenery, everything's set. You don't have to worry about it, and maybe someone will find an object and bring it to you, or you can go explore the world yourself. Very important. If you want to explore the world, you need to explore it before everybody gets situated, because once they're in front of that mirror, that's it. Everyone's just in mirror mode. Some worlds do have objects you can bring back, like pillows or stuffed animals or something, and you can line those up in whatever positions you feel necessary to your comedy levels. And with that, I'm going to end this video here because I feel like it's going on a little bit too long and there's so much mirror etiquette. I have lightly forgotten a lot of it, but you know, I can always make another video and teach you guys more in depth about mirrors and what you should and shouldn't do. But this is a nice jumping point, some nice basics. A lot of the stuff you have to pick up while you go along, you know. I can only carry you guys so far with these important tutorials, and they are very serious tutorials, so keep that in mind. Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in my future videos. Goodbye!